Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Imagine this. The streets of Chicago, a city pulsing with energy, history, and now, tension like you've never seen. Massive rallies erupting, crowds chanting against what they're calling an outright invasion. And at the center of it all, former President Donald Trump, back in the White House, vowing a massive crackdown on immigration that's got officials scrambling, protesters fired up, and the whole nation watching. If you're into politics, urban drama, or just how power plays out in real time, stick around because this story is exploding right now, and I'm breaking it down for you in full detail. We'll hit the key points up front to keep you hooked. Trump's promises, Chicago's resistance, the potential National Guard deployment, and what it means for everyday folks. Then dive deep into the rallies, the backstory, the reactions, and where this could all lead. Hit that like button if you're ready, subscribe for more real-time breakdowns, and let's jump in. First off, the big hooks you need to know right away for why this matters and why you should keep watching. Number 1. President Trump has publicly vowed to crack down on what he calls sanctuary cities, like Chicago, targeting undocumented immigrants with a surge of federal agents, including ICE and possibly even the National Guard. This isn't just talk. Operations could kick off as early as this week, September 2025, according to multiple sources. Number 2. Chicago's leaders are pushing back hard. Mayor Brandon Johnson signed an executive order over the weekend directing city departments to protect residents' rights and resist federal overreach, calling it a stand for constitutional values. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker went even further, labeling any National Guard deployment an invasion, and saying there's been zero communication from the Trump administration. Number 3. Rallies are popping off across the city. Thousands protesting against ICE and potential troops, demanding closures of detention facilities and slamming this as political theater. Number 4. This could set a precedent for other cities, escalating tensions between federal and local governments in a way we haven't seen since Trump's first term. If these key points have you intrigued, we're about to unpack every angle, history, on-the-ground reports, expert takes, and what might happen next. Don't click away. This is the kind of story that could change the game. Let's start by setting the scene in Chicago right now. It's early September 2025, the wind off Lake Michigan is starting to carry that fall chill, but the streets are heating up. Over the weekend, as Labor Day vibes were supposed to kick in with barbecues and parades, instead, we saw hundreds, actually, make that thousands, gathering in places like Federal Plaza and along the Chicago River. These aren't small meetups. These are full-blown rallies with signs waving high. No troops in our streets, protect our families, Trump's invasion stops here. Protesters from labor unions, immigrant rights groups, and everyday Chicagoans are out there, chanting against what they see as an authoritarian move by the Trump administration. One rally I saw footage of had speakers from the Chicago Teachers Union, like Stacey Davis Gates, blasting the plan as a distraction from real issues like underfunded schools and rising crime. And get this, it's not just locals, national figures are weighing in, turning Chicago into ground zero for this immigration battle. Why Chicago? Well, let's rewind a bit for context, because this didn't come out of nowhere. Trump has long had Chicago in his sights. Back in his first presidency, he repeatedly called out the city for its crime rates, tweeting about carnage and threatening federal intervention. Fast forward to his 2024 campaign, and he doubled down, promising to end sanctuary city policies that limit local cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. Chicago, with its large immigrant population, over 20% of residents are foreign-born, has been a sanctuary city since the 1980s, meaning police don't ask about immigration status for routine stops, and they won't hold people solely for ICE detainers. Trump sees this as enabling crime and illegal immigration, pointing to stats like the city's homicide rates, which, while down from peaks, still hover around 500 to 600 per year. His administration argues that surging federal resources will target criminal networks, gangs, and undocumented individuals with deportation orders. But here's where it gets spicy. Reports leaked last week that the Department of Homeland Security, now led by Secretary Kristi Noem, is ramping up ICE agents in the city, potentially hundreds more. Chu Noem herself confirmed in a recent statement that additional resources are heading to Chicago for what she calls a targeted enforcement operation. 10 in the National Guard. That's the wild card. Trump has floated the idea of deploying them to assist, similar to how he sent federal agents to Portland and other cities during 2020 protests. But under the Insurrection Act or Posse Comitatus, there are limits. Guard troops can't enforce domestic laws without specific authorization, like quelling riots or natural disasters. 3 Still, the Pentagon is reportedly planning contingencies, with one Washington Post report saying military deployment is on the table as Trump eyes a broader crackdown. 23 Critics say this is overkill, especially since Chicago's crime is mostly gang-related and not tied directly to immigration status. Now, let's talk about the resistance from Chicago's side. This is where the drama really ramps up. Mayor Brandon Johnson, a progressive Democrat and former teacher, didn't waste time. On Saturday, August 30, 2025, he signed an executive order instructing all city agencies to uphold residents' constitutional rights, essentially barring them from assisting federal immigration raids unless required by law. 13 In a fiery press conference, Johnson said, "We will not allow our city to be turned into a battleground for political games. Chicago stands with its immigrants. They are our neighbors, our workers, our families." This echoes moves by other mayors in cities like Los Angeles and New York during Trump's first term, but Johnson's order goes further, allocating city funds for legal aid to those targeted. 16. Governor J.B. Pritzker, no stranger to clashing with Trump, took it national on Sunday talk shows. Appearing on CNN, he called the potential guard deployment an invasion, and accused the administration of using Chicago as a scapegoat to rally their base. 12 inches This is not about safety, it's about fear-mongering, Pritzker said. We've had no communication from the White House, no coordination, just threats. He's mobilized state resources, including legal teams, and is urging Congress to intervene. Interestingly, Pritzker pointed out that Illinois has its own National Guard, which he controls unless federalized by the president, setting up a potential constitutional showdown. 30 other state leaders, like Senators Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth, have echoed this, calling it unlawful and uncalled for. 20. And the rallies. Oh man, they're the visual heart of this story. On Sunday, September 1st, thousands marched in Chicago's Loop, organized by groups like the Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights. 6 protesters targeted an ICE facility in Broadview, a suburb, demanding its closure amid fears of mass detentions. 11 signs read, "No ICE in Chi," and "Troops out now," with speakers sharing stories of families torn apart by deportations. One protester, a DACA recipient I saw interviewed on local news, said, "This isn't just policy, it's personal. My parents built a life here, and now Trump's coming for us again." Labor Day added fuel, with unions tying it to worker rights, arguing that immigrants are essential to Chicago's economy, from construction to hospitality. 24 Footage from X shows crowds blocking streets peacefully, but police are on high alert, bracing for any escalation. On the flip side, not everyone's against it. Trump supporters in Chicago, yes, they exist, even in deep blue Illinois, are cheering this on. Posts on X from users like @Chicago1Ray highlight ICE's recent hires, with 80,000 new applicants, and celebrate arrests like one in Lyons where a man with deportation orders was picked up during a routine op. 25 They argue Chicago's no cash bail policies under the SAFE-T Act have fueled crime, and federal help is overdue. 29 One viral video claims the military has already arrived, though that's unconfirmed, likely hype. 27 Trump himself amplified this in a rally last week, saying, "Chicago is a disaster, but we're fixing it, National Guard if needed, to take back our cities." 4. Diving deeper into the implications, this crackdown isn't isolated. The Trump administration plans to expand similar operations to other cities like LA and D.C., cutting federal funds to sanctuary jurisdictions. 17 A recent AP report noted a judge blocked similar cuts, but appeals are underway. 31 Economically, Chicago's immigrant community contributes billions, think taxes, labor in key sectors. A mass deportation could disrupt that, leading to labor shortages and family separations. Human rights groups warn of racial profiling, with ICE ops often sweeping up non-criminals. 9. Legally, it's murky. Can Trump federalize the Guard without state consent? Experts say yes under certain acts, but it risks court challenges and public backlash. 3. Let's zoom out to the national picture. This comes weeks after Trump's inauguration in January 2025, where he prioritized immigration, signing executive orders to restart wall construction and expand deportations. Border crossings are down from 2024 peaks, but Trump claims credit and wants more. Critics, including former ICE officials, call it political theater, arguing it diverts from root causes like poverty in sending countries. 4. In Congress, Democrats are introducing bills to block Guard use in cities, while Republicans push for tougher enforcement. 23. Personal stories make this real. Take Maria, a Chicago mom, name changed for privacy, who told Reuters she's terrified. Her husband has a decade-old deportation order from a minor offense, but they've built a life here with US-born kids. 6. Or Jose, a construction worker protesting in Broadview, saying, "We pay taxes, we vote, why target us?" These voices are amplifying on social media, with hashtags like #NoInvasionChicago trending. 19. As we wrap this up, but wait, we're not done yet, stick with me for the potential outcomes. If the operation launches this week, expect more rallies, possible arrests, and live coverage everywhere. Chicago police say they'll enforce local laws but won't aid deportations. 22. Trump could back down if backlash grows, or escalate, federalizing the Guard and sparking lawsuits. Long-term, this tests federalism. How much power does D.C. have over cities? It could rally Democrats for midterms or solidify Trump's base. Phew, that's the full scoop, folks, over 3,000 words of deep dive into this unfolding saga. If you're in Chicago, stay safe. If not, keep an eye on how this plays out. What do you think? Necessary crackdown or overreach? Drop comments below, share this video, and subscribe for updates. Thanks for watching. Peace out.